Again, don't know if we're having context. Okay. Class expectation for appropriate behavior. You can read through that yourself. Just remember from last year. A lot of you seventh graders did. A lot of you seventh graders this year didn't do a really good job of this. The expectations of last year. So if you were to come to traditional learning, I will tell you this: you will probably be in the regular band class with seventh grade. The way they got our schedule this year is they got all the percussion in with the winds. But fortunately for, I guess, me, all my seventh grade percussion are distance learning. Um, only one that's not distance learning is Sebastian, but we're gonna put Sebastian in the winds portion so he can learn to play oboe a little bit better. Okay. So lucky for me, I won't probably have to have a seventh grade percussion, but just know next year when you come back, you have to be able to take this test in order to get into the high school band. Okay, so just read through this class expectation for appropriate behavior. Um, all this, obviously, this and that music classroom procedure does not pertain to y'all as distance learning kids, but if you are ever to transition back to traditional, maybe the virus eventually goes away and you trans back into the traditional. Obviously, this is going to pertain to you when that happens. Okay, so I'm not going to read it. You can read it on yourself. You're smart enough kids to do it. Just read and also read through the consequences. Obviously, you should know this. Students who fail to bring proper materials will receive a 0 for the day grade. We'll have an alternate assignment. Y'all are some of you are used to that, I guess. And students consistently unable to follow classroom rules or procedure risks being removed from the program. Okay. Again, it doesn't pertain to you right now, but if you come to traditional learning, this is what it is. Okay. And you know the different consequences of the misbehavior. Okay, look at that last sheet. Okay, last sheet. This is the fear clause. You signed this last year. You're going to sign it this year again. You'll sign it. You won't have to sign it as a high schooler. You'll sign the handbook that we have for the high school. But for middle school, this is what we got. I guess it says now. I can't. If you come to traditional learning. So for insubordinate behavior such as profane language, fighting, and other occurrence decided upon the teacher, the lesser consequences may be overlooked and the student may be sent directly to the administration with a disciplinary referral. Okay. Get this sign. Okay. You sign, parent sign. Okay. I need this sign to return back. That is August 13th. Part of August 13th's homework. Okay. Well, actually, it's homework for every day. You just got to get it signed. Get that syllabus signed, turn back to on August 21st. Okay. If you read above where your signature is supposed to be, it says, I understand the policies and procedures for Miss Stapleton's and Mr. Parks' middle school band class, and I realize the consequences will follow if rules are broken. Okay. Get that turned in before you come back. Okay. Or before you come and pick up your next packet. Okay. All right. Okay, so the next thing, like I said, the next thing that should be in your packet is this lesson plan. It tells you everything we're going to do for each day. Shows you the standards, objectives, everything you'll need. Okay. At the start of each day in your packet, you'll have this that tells you everything you need for that day. So if you look at this first one for August 13th, it says you need the treble clef worksheet, which I have labeled everything. Okay, I've labeled everything. All right. Treble clef worksheet. As is labeled treble clef worksheet. Okay, everything is labeled. You'll need a worksheet lesson. So this is for today. Okay, so you'll need lesson 1, lesson 2. Lesson 1 and lesson 2 are this. Okay, where there's a bunch of note stuff. Lesson 2 is on the back. Lesson 1's on the front. Obviously, I did it. Try to save some paper. You'll need note naming worksheet number 1, bell ringer number 1, and obviously this video. Okay. The bell ringers. Okay. They told us to make sure y'all had bell work, so we just made the bell ringers as easy as possible. Just do the bell ringers as another way we show the participation for this class. Just do the bell ringers. They're simple. They're super easy. Like this is the bell ringer for number 1 for August 13th. Okay. It's just a bunch of note naming. Okay. If you don't remember, obviously we're going to go through it. If you don't remember, I'm fixing to take this computer out there and go through all this. So if you don't remember, it's okay. Um, and then you can see it says teacher model. This is just a way of showing what we were going to be doing each day of the class for the administration. So you can base everything. The only thing I would for you to look off of this is just know what you need for the day. Make sure you have everything in order for the class before this video starts, or the next video, whatever video you're on. Just make sure you have enough, okay? All right, I'm fixing to pause this and we're gonna move, okay? All right, I'm gonna try to do this some way, okay? All right, the first thing you need to get out is that treble clef worksheet. Now, if you've done your bell ringer, great. I'm not requiring it right now just because I just want to refresh everything. But if you have your bell ring, if you've done your bell ringer, that's great. We'll go over it here in a second or two. But for right now, once you get out this treble clef worksheet, okay, treble clef worksheet, okay, we're going to go over the treble clef, just refresh yourself on how everything should go. All right, I'm gonna draw my 5 lines. I hope you can see this. I can't help this glare that you're seeing, but hopefully this works. Okay. Draw my 5 lines. Okay, you can see them. Makeshift a treble clef. Okay, it's a makeshift treble clef. Don't even worry about it. Okay. So real quick, we're just going to review over all this again. And then after we review this, you could probably just go into doing your bell ringer if you want to, okay? Just make sure you're still paying attention to me, okay? All right, so remember our musical alphabet. Okay, we got A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Our musical alphabet. I hope you can see that. If you can't, you should be able to see it. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's our musical alphabet. It's always forever musical alphabet. Okay, after G, we start back over at A. Okay. If you remember from last year, we had a saying for our lines. Okay, the saying for our line is "Every good boy does fine." There's some different ones you could probably think of on your own. Okay, so every good boy does fine. Okay, so what we're doing is starting off the first letter of each of those words for the lines. Okay, for the lines. So we got E for every. Can you see that? Yeah, E. Okay, and then good, G. Boy, B. Does, D, and F for fine. Okay, every good boy does fine. Okay, but B is not that well done. Let me rewrite the B. Okay. Now for the so every good boy does fine. If you want to write it out, you can. That's fine. I don't really care. Okay. Like I said, this is a refresher course. Okay. Then we got the spaces. If you remember from last year, we said put a face in the space. Okay. So we're literally just going to go out and spell face in the space. Okay. So you see face in the space. Okay. Now I want you to feel that's exactly what I want to see on this treble clef sheet. You will not turn this sheet into me ever. Okay. I will tell you this now. You will never turn this sheet, this treble clef worksheet, never turn it into me. I don't want it. Okay. But you got to do it. Okay. But I won't want it back. Okay. So when we're talking about our treble clef, okay, and this is the beginning of treble clef. We learned this last year. Okay. And talking about the musical alphabet, okay? So our treble clef starts on E, okay? So every line and space we take just goes up 1 letter, okay? If you notice between each line, okay, the E, G, B, D, F, between each line we skip a letter, okay? E, skip a letter G, skip a letter B, skip a letter D, skip a letter F, okay? And the same thing goes for the spaces, okay? You start on 1 letter, so 1 letter, which is F. We skip a letter A, skip a letter C, skip a letter E, okay? So theoretically, if you start on E, do your musical alphabet E, F, G, Okay, and then we know after G we start over at A, so we'll go E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, super easy, super simple. Okay, it should be a refresher by now. Okay, so just have that in your throughout this weeks of lessons. You will need that. Need this treble clef sheet. The quicker the quicker you get this memorized, the easier the homework should be. I don't want you eventually what I want is you to be able to get away from this sheet of paper and do it by memorization. Okay. Some of you could have the potential of being great mallet players. I know mallets is not the cool thing in percussion, but we need mallet players who are good. Okay. Sooner or later, we'll lose our one really good one in high school band. We have a few good ones in the high school band, but we got only one that primarily plays mallets. Okay, so just because it's not the cool thing to do, doesn't mean you shouldn't try it on. Because the mallet part can be just as important and just as fun if you're an advanced player, okay? But you got to work at getting an advanced player, okay? All right, so just fill this out real quick, and then we'll get to the next thing. All right. By now you should have that finished filled out. Next thing I need you to get out is what's called note naming worksheet number 1, okay? Note naming worksheet number 1, okay? And what I want is for you to use that treble clef worksheet, okay? We use that treble clef worksheet that we just filled out, and I just want you to fill out just the first line, okay? Just the first line, okay? That's all I want to see. It's just the first line, okay? Use the treble clef worksheet to fill it out, okay? Do that real quick. Should take you less than 10 seconds, okay? Remember to always use that treble clef worksheet. The treble clef worksheet is your friend. The quicker you get it memorized, the better, okay? Give you about 5 more seconds. All right, so we're just looking at the first line right now, okay? Just the first line. I know some of you people, obviously I can't control what you're doing from this computer, but I ask you to just do it as I do it, just so you don't get ahead, okay? So just looking at the first line, okay? That first answer, okay, if we look at our treble clef or we look at the staff, we remember our saying, every good boy does fine, okay, it's on the line. So obviously we don't have to worry about the letters in the space right now, okay? We just got to worry about the letters on the line, okay? So if you do it like, if you either say the saying or look at your treble clef worksheet, you should be able to just easily point out which note that is, okay? Every good boy does fine. That ends up on the B line. So we would say that this is a B, okay? A B, pretty easy, okay? Number 2, that second one, okay? It is on the 4th line from the bottom, okay? So that means if we go so 1, 2, 3, 4, 4th line's this one. So we do every good boy does, okay? We got all the way to does, so that means that second one is D, okay? All right, then we get to our first space note, okay? It's on the very top space, okay? We put a face in the space, so we go F, A, C, E, okay? The third one should be E. All right, and then you go back down, okay? You go to the second space, F, A, okay? And then that first space, F. And then if you understand, okay, that last one in that first line is the same note as the third one in that line, okay? So F, A, C, E, okay? Now I know you're probably like, Mr. Parks, can you just go ahead and get past this? This is easy peasy. I got my piece of paper right here. No, I won't go faster than what you want. Like I said, this is just a refresher. You don't get to speed through mallets, okay? We will get to rhythm stuff. We will get to percussion stuff. I'm going to have to get to a lot of stuff this year with y'all because I won't be seeing you face to face, okay? But I got to do it as slow as I understand and make sure y'all understand, okay? So try to stay with me in these videos. I will give you time to do work ahead of yourself. Just stay with me in these videos, okay? So at this point, I want you to do lines 2 and 3. Okay, lines 2 and 3. If you haven't already done so, do lines 2 and 3 real quick.